So I have been in Canada for many years now, but I still haven't bought a house in Canada. So I'll give you some examples just to show you how expensive houses are in Canada. And if you are also in a similar situation as me, the real reason why I did not buy a house in Canada is because... What's up YouTube, it's Shivansh here and welcome back to another video. So you guys must have seen a lot of videos about YouTubers talking about buying their first house in Canada, and so many people have made videos on this topic. And if you have any idea about the Canadian real estate market, you must be aware that the Canadian housing market is on fire. But today's video is going to be very different because today I will talk about why I did not buy a house in Canada yet. Because even though there are so many videos talking about buying a house in Canada, I have not seen any video talking about some really important things that you need to know if you are coming to Canada and you will be buying a house in Canada in the future. Especially if you are coming to Canada as an international student or a new immigrant, then these things are extremely important for you guys to know. So I have been in Canada for many years now, but I still haven't bought a house in Canada. And for immigrants like us who come to Canada as an international student or who take a PR and then come to Canada, for us buying a house is like one of the top things on our checklist. So for example, I came to Canada as a student, and when a student comes to Canada, the first thing that is on our mind is to graduate and then get a good job. Our next goal is to get our PR, and then finally our goal is to buy a house. And when we buy our first house in Canada, that's actually when we feel like we have made it in Canada and we are finally settled here. But the situation in Canada is very different in 2022, and this video is going to be all about this. So in this video we will cover some realities of Canada in 2022, so that if you are planning to come to Canada or if you are already in Canada and you want to buy a house, you should have some realistic expectations. Now, to understand why I did not buy a house in Canada yet, you first need to understand the concept of inflation. So if you don't know what inflation is, then inflation is just the increase in price of goods and services in an economy, or in other words, inflation is nothing but things becoming more expensive as time passes. So if you think about it, if you have $100 today or 100 rupees today, then think of what you could buy from that $100 or 100 rupees back in the year 2000, and what can you buy today in 2022 with that same amount of money. So I'm sure back in the year 2000 you could afford to buy a lot more number of items with the same $100 bill or 100 rupees in India. But in today's time, in 2022, you will not be able to buy the exact same amount of things with the same amount of money. And this is basically what inflation is. Now, inflation can be measured based on various different parameters, but one of the things that we look at to measure inflation in a country is the CPI, or the Consumer Price Index. And Canada's CPI has increased by 6.8% in the last 12 months, and this is the worst inflation since 1991. Now, even though the CPI has increased by 6.8%, but the real inflation that we as consumers face is a lot more than that number. Now, you can see the impact of inflation on day-to-day items. For example, a shawarma, which is a very popular fast food item here in Toronto and just generally in Canada, especially amongst the students, the price of a shawarma has also increased by $1 to $2 or even more in some cases. Even pizza from Geno's, which is by the way my go-to place for cheap pizza, has become more expensive. Coffee from Tim Hortons has also become more expensive, at least by 10%. Even grocery from Walmart, which used to cost me around $100 every couple of weeks, now cost me around $120 to $125, which is definitely an increase of 20 to 25%, which is a lot. Every food place or every retailer has either already increased their prices or will be increasing their prices in the near future. So even though these increases are just $1 or $2, however, all these additional expenses do add up and they definitely impact your monthly budget. And the salaries are not increasing to keep up with inflation. For example, the national average household income in Canada is still $60,000, which comes out to be around $3,800 per month, which is frankly not enough to run a family because the rent itself is so high. The minimum rent in the GTA region for a one-bedroom condo is about $1,900, and for a two-bedroom condo it's about $2,300, and I'm not even including the utilities or internet fees or even parking fees in that, which will be another $150 to $200 approximately. Now, you can live in a basement apartment and you can maybe bring it down to about $1,600, but even then it's pretty high for a basement apartment. If you are a student or if you are willing to live in a shared accommodation, then maybe you can manage it somehow, but if you want to have the entire entire apartment to yourself, then it's going to be extremely expensive. Similarly, oil is also at its all-time high, and we already know that it's so expensive to own a car in Canada, particularly because of the insurance costs. But now even the oil prices have increased by 30 to 40% as compared to 1 year ago. So because of this, the total ownership cost of a car has also increased, and that will also affect your monthly budget. I also want to know what are your thoughts about inflation in Canada or even around the world, and do you also feel that the price of everyday items has increased and just everything across the board has become more expensive? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So now that you understand what inflation is and how it is impacting affordability in Canada, let's talk about the housing market situation in Canada. So if you don't know, the housing market in Canada has been booming for many years, and especially after COVID, the house prices have increased by at least 30 to 40%. And because of this, owning a house or even a one-bedroom condo in Canada, especially in the Toronto area or in the GTA region, has become so difficult and expensive. So basically, everybody in Canada is trying to buy a house today, and they're trying to catch on to a lower interest rate because the interest rates are also increasing, and increasing interest rates is also another factor that's going to affect the affordability for everyone, especially for the people who have not yet bought a house, and it's going to become even more difficult for them to buy a house in today's time. So I'll give you some examples just to show you how expensive houses are in Canada, especially in the Toronto area. So this house that you are seeing is actually a detached house. This is the most expensive and also the most preferred type of houses. And this exact house in Oakville or in the Toronto region can cost anywhere from $1.2 to $1.5 million or even more depending on your area or the location. So if we talk about a condo or an apartment building, then a one-bedroom condo in the GTA region will cost you around $500,000 to $600,000, and a two-bedroom condo can cost you up to $800,000 or even $900,000, which is certainly a huge amount for a condo or for a small apartment for you to live in. Now, if we talk about this specific house, so this is a townhouse because these are actually two houses with a common wall in between. So this type of house is also for anywhere from like $900,000 to $1.2, $1.3 million, depending on which area you're looking at. And even these types of houses are so very expensive these days. And to give you an idea about the mortgage situation in Canada, so generally you get a mortgage approval for approximately 5 times your household income. So for example, if a person earns $100,000 in Canada, which is actually a pretty decent amount for a single person, then that person can afford a house or can afford a mortgage up to like $500,000 at max. And as we just discussed, in GTA, you can probably get like a one-bedroom condo, probably somewhere on the outskirts, or maybe like an older condo in the main area. But even then, like just that condo is for like $500,000 to $600,000. And if you have a salary of $100,000 per year, then the max you can afford, the max mortgage you can afford is up to like $500,000. So if you want to buy a house or a condo that costs more than $500,000, which it will in GTA region, as I just told you, then in that case, you'll have to pay everything above that or beyond that in the form of down payment or in the form of cash. So based on all the information that I've given to you in this video, the real reason why I did not buy a house in Canada is because the affordability in Canada is actually very low right now. And now the interest rates are also increasing. So because of both these factors, rising interest rates and inflation, the total mortgage that a person can afford or the mortgage affordability has gone down significantly. And the house prices in Canada are so high, as we just discussed, and whatever I can afford to buy in today's market is either not a good property or a good investment because either it's not in the right location or it's too small for my use or for my needs, or there is something else that is wrong with that specific property. Or the other reason is that the property that I can afford to buy in today's market is maybe something that I personally think is not worth that price. So for example, if I can afford to buy, let's say, a $600,000 one-bedroom apartment in the GTA region, and the size of such an apartment will be somewhere around 550 to 650 square feet. So I think that such a small apartment or a one-bedroom apartment, which is this small, is probably not worth $600,000 because I require a bigger place than this because there's two of us and because I'm also working from home permanently, so I require one room or like one small area for my office space, which could be like a den or something. So I at least need one bedroom plus den, if not a two-bedroom apartment for my needs. And the bigger apartments or houses that actually fit my requirements are even more expensive. The two-bedroom apartment starts at around $800,000 and can be even more expensive than that. And that that is definitely out of budget because I won't be able to afford a mortgage for that big of an amount based on my current financial situation. And the real reason why I'm telling you all this is because I want you to prepare for this reality of Canada. And I don't want you to think that buying a house in Canada is very easy or it is super affordable just because you're seeing so many people buying houses every single day. And I want you to have realistic expectations about all these things so that once you come to Canada or once you actually start looking to buy a house, you are not disappointed. So what am I doing today since I'm not able to buy a house in Canada at this point in time? And if you are also in a similar situation as me, where either you don't have enough funds for the down payment or if you don't have enough income that would qualify you for a bigger mortgage, then what are your different options in such a situation? So the very first thing that you can do is actually go to your employer and ask for a raise or get a higher paying job, because the kind of inflation that we are seeing today, the affordability will definitely take a hit and your monthly expenses are definitely going to increase. And if you get a higher paying job, then that would potentially qualify you for a higher mortgage. The second thing that you can do is maybe move to a cheaper province such as Alberta, where the housing affordability is still not as bad as Ontario or parts of BC. And while you continue working on saving up for your down payment and increasing your salary to get a higher mortgage, you should consistently invest in various investment options such as stocks, bonds, ETFs, mutual funds, etc. And that is exactly what I'm doing in today's time. So if you have any questions about this video, then let me know in the comments below, and you can also reach out to me on Instagram at Singla119 and I'll be happy to answer all your questions. So that's all I have for you guys today, and I hope that you enjoyed watching this video, and make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel to watch more such videos about studying and working in Canada and just life in Canada in general. And I'll see you guys in the next video.